Welcome to another episode of Nori is off the line. This is your positive source of insights, opinions, and relevant information. We are live on TBN Philippines, TBN Asia, Hillsong channel, and UCAP Television. And tonight on this program, we will be having Inka Magnaye, who will share her journey in the voice industry. Before that, let's watch this Salidayag Christian Online Short Film Contest. And without further ado, the voice of PAL or Philippine Airlines, Miss Inka Magnaye. Inka, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, great, great. Thank you for asking. And by the way,
Wonderful.
before we get started, I'd like to thank you for saying yes to this invitation. I know that
Of
you've been
course.
very busy, invitations left and right. So
It's okay. I love talking to everyone.
nice, nice. Especially in this time in your career, no? That's biglang nag-shoot yung
Yeah.
awareness about Inka Magnaye, and not just Inka Magnaye,
Oh
but
yeah.
the voice industry in general. I think
Yeah.
has been made aware by you. So
Yeah.
grabe yon. Anyways, Inka, before we get started with our conversation, can you please give us a little background about yourself, please?
Well, usually, apart from being a voice talent, I am also, well, a big part of my time is doing voiceovers. But when I'm not, I like to do other stuff too. I like working out. I really enjoy working out,
Mm,
and I also go on my longboard a lot.
mhm.
And like everyone, I like to watch like these, animes and K dramas in my free time. So yeah, there.
All right, I see. Well, you know, in your years as a teenager, or even before your teenage years, have you ever thought about being in the voice industry at all?
Oh yes, because I started when I was 5, so
Mm,
I never really had like um, I was always doing it. So it's something that I've always just that's just been a constant part of my life.
mhm,
So I did think about maybe doing other things apart from voiceovers,
mhm,
but I don't know. There seems to be no escaping this, and I love it anyway. So
mhm,
I guess there's no choice but for me to explore even further. Well,
mhm,
what else I can do as a voice talent?
mhm. So, what was life like growing up for you?
Well, growing up was really interesting because I grew up in a recording studio.
Mm,
So like oftentimes like after school, we get picked up by our parents and stuff, and
mm,
then straight to the studio we go because
mm,
we all have to we go home together.
mhm,
So it's just one car ride,
mhm,
right? And then we'll be doing my siblings and I will be doing our homework together in a studio that does not have a booking that day or something.
mhm,
So one of the, oh, you can use Studio C because they just finished doing one of the projects or whatever. Okay, so we'll just like hang out there,
mhm,
and it was interesting because we were also exposed to so many uh, wonderful talents.
mhm,
Because a lot of the voiceover talents in the industry are like theater actors or things like that, very
mhm,
artistic people. So
mhm,
growing up, um, we kept the company of very interesting people, and
mhm,
we learned a lot as siblings. We learned a lot from these people, and I think based on that experience alone, and then our parents being our parents, so very animated and very intelligent, it was a very unique growing up experience to say the least.
mhm. The voice industry, Inka, is something that not a lot of people know about. In fact,
Yes.
parang how do you say it? It's more like it was taken for granted, no? Parang ganyan or
Oh yeah.
overlooked or
Yeah.
there's a lot of terms that we can use. Pero why is it like that?
Um, uh, I can tell you exactly why, actually, because I always encounter this. Um, Oftentimes, you will hear clients say, "Can you just do it for like this price?"
Uh-huh.
Which is not the industry standard at all, like far away from. Because the reasoning is, I'm just talking anyway. So to them, like a voice talent is no big deal because we're just talking. But
Mm-mm.
actually, it's such a rich industry in so many other countries, and here talents are definitely overlooked.
Mm-mm.
Another example would be like, it's different now in my experience, but before, when I was starting out as a live voiceover talent,
Mm-mm.
the way they treat the live voiceover talent in events
Mm-mm.
compared to the way they treat the event's host is very different. Like the
Mm-hmm.
event's host gets their own dressing room, and they get all these like, oh, do you want coffee, or like, these things,
Because they
just
get exposure
nice
on
little
stage, no?
comfortable perks. But
Yep.
like as a voice talent, it's just like, you it's not the same. You know what I mean? So
Parang
it's just a
behind the
very
scene ka lang ganun.
jarring. Sorry.
It's like you're just behind the scene and
Yes, we
the
are
host
we
gets
are
to get
behind
the
the scenes,
exposure.
definitely. Yeah, we are behind the scenes, definitely. But the difference in the way that the parang, because we're both talents, hosts and voiceover are
Mm-mm.
considered talents,
Yeah.
but the way they're treated is very different.
Mm-mm.
So it's just an interesting observation. I was never like salty about it or anything, because I'm just like, okay, I'll stay backstage and I'll read whatever my book, and then I'll get water from the dispenser. It's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
as hosts, they do need to get made up. They have to
Mm-mm.
dress up. So obviously, the dressing room is a given.
Mm-mm.
But just like, it's just certain things you
Mm-hmm.
can see.
Mm-mm.
And another observation that I made was, voiceovers are never really credited, like
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
credits
yeah.
of
Right,
like
right.
an ad.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, nothing, nothing. So
But
it's an
why is it
interesting.
so? Because tama eh. You're right eh. With the talents like let's say in a film or in a commercial,
Yeah,
sometimes you get to notice people because you know them by name because of
yeah,
credits. Pero bakit nga no? Why is it that on voice talents parang
yeah,
very little,
yeah.
hindi nga minimum eh, wala talaga eh.
Hardly, yeah. Here in the
Yeah.
Philippines, it's been like that. But in other countries, the narrator. That's why people like Don LaFontaine got really famous, is because he's just a voiceover, but they value voiceover talent in other countries.
Mm,
I think we can do that here. And one of my favorite experiences is how I know is voiceover talents are a little underexposed,
mm,
is because I did an event for the Cultural Center of the Philippines. And in the credits of the Cultural Center of the Philippines after the event, they said, voiceover talent, Miss Inka Magnaye. And I was so shocked. I was like, wait a second, I'm part of the credits? And it felt so nice.
uh-huh.
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, this has never happened to me
Correct.
before.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the Cultural Center of the Philippines would do that because they value all kinds of
Arts.
talents,
Yeah.
right? So it was just a wonderful
Mm,
experience for me.
correct. What do you think is well, you've raised a one valid point about about the industry that in the Philippines that that they hardly recognize voice talents. But aside from that, do
Yeah,
you think there's anything else that needs to be improved when it comes to how the voice industry is being run or being handled?
good question. It's mostly because a lot of the voice talents are I can't think of anything on the voice talent side. It's just the industry itself. Clients are not used to voice talent standard industry prices. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they always get so shocked about like, oh, can you send us a quotation? Here you go. And they're like, really? And it's like, yes.
They probably want
And
it
then
for free.
I know, right? And my thing is, like, if voiceovers were so easy, then that means anyone can do it. But
Exactly.
the reason you need a voiceover is because not everyone can do it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Not
So I
everyone is Inka
think they
Magnaye,
take
right?
that for granted because and so many other
And
wonderful talents. Oh my goodness, we have amazing voices here in the Philippines,
mhm.
and it's just a shame that it you need to exert some effort to get people to appreciate it,
Mm-hmm.
especially professionally. But we'll get there eventually. I'm guessing. I think it's just because the voiceover industry is so underexposed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm very happy that this little um, spike of popularity of mine has put a focus on voice talents,
Exactly.
is
And you're all
because
over now.
it's our, yeah, and it's nice. And that's actually what my videos kind of show people, is I show people how much practice and actually goes
Mm-hmm.
into this industry, and
Right.
into my work. Like, everyone says you make it sound so easy, and the reason I'm able to make it sound so easy is because I worked so many years to get to where I am,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So like, it's like one of the things that I saw online, when like, if it, if it looks easy, then that means that person worked so hard to make it look easy,
Yeah, it's the
you
hard
know.
work over the years. But
Yeah.
this is probably one of the questions that a lot of people would be asking. Na,
Hmm.
it it seems to be very natural. Like for you, when you do your Watsons,
Yeah.
that episode right
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems to be it seems that it's just natural. Parang walang practice. There's no need to practice at all. So they would
Yeah.
say na parang it's just easy for her because she has a natural skill of doing that. But is it true
Yeah.
that it's just come out naturally, or is it something that we can say it's a product of rehearsals or practice?
Absolutely, it's a product of practice. Like, I've been doing voiceovers for 26 years nonstop. So that's why now it sounds like this. You know what I mean?
26 years, my God.
Yeah, because I started when I was 5, and I really never stopped.
So you
Like,
mean
as I
when you
grew
were,
older,
sorry to cut you off. You mean since
yes,
you
it's
were
okay.
5, you had projects then?
Yes, like, when kids get commercial parts, like for food
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, like, set up, things like that,
Really?
or like, yeah, like the kids lines, and I used to
Okay.
do all those things. And as I grew older, as my voice grew older, I I got different roles. So like, I got young kids roles, and then when I was a teenager, I got a lot of, because for teenagers, the product is usually like a telco brand,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, wala na akong load. How can I text my crush? Like things like that, right? And then as I grew older, again, I just got different roles that would fit my voice. So like,
So
I
maturing
I
roles
did.
then, no? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like in a regular media industry
Correct.
din pala, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I've never stopped, because
Mm-hmm.
at any age there would be a role for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there. Yeah.
What do you think of the level of talent for voice talents in the Philippines?
I think that um, there are so many, again, really wonderful voices here in the Philippines. The reason, and I think that the industry could grow so much more, but it's just not a lot of people want to go into it, because they're afraid that, they might not be able to make a living out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a vicious cycle, you know what I mean? Because like, the industry also itself has to improve, like how they treat the voiceover talents
Mm-hmm.
has to improve. Like, in a lot of instances,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, after a project is done, the voiceover talent is the very last one to get paid. Like, we are the last ones. Like, I've had projects where they paid me 2 years after the
Wow.
project was aired. Yeah, so it's a little, it's getting better now. But how we started was, it was really like a little kawawa, the talent. So I think if the voiceover talents were more appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
and the professional, how do I put this?
But
Like, if,
is there such an
yeah,
organization that that actually is like a platform for you guys to to
yes, yes.
air your
Actually,
grievances?
a few of the veteran voiceover talents in the Philippines banded together to create this. It's like a, it's an organization called Vocal Alliance,
Yeah, as part of it.
and there you go. And Robbie Joseph started it,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked for the help of a lot of, because we're all friends. Also, we grew up together. We met each other for a long time ago and became friends and family.
Yeah.
So we all kind of banded together and collectively put our foot down,
Hmm.
so to speak.
Yeah.
So
And
a
and
lot of
thanks to and thanks to Ron and Joyce Titular for including me in that community.
yes, oh my gosh, they're so wonderful. It's such a great family. It's we all look out for each other,
Yeah.
and what benefits one benefits everybody.
Mm-mm.
So it's such a great
But
initiative, and I'm
is
so
it like
happy
a
to be a part of it.
yeah? Is it like a formal organization wherein the likes of I can't think about the name, but Actors Guild, for example. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, I can't.
registered
Oh yeah,
organization that
like
has
an actors guild.
and that they can
I
lobby.
can't say
You
for
know,
sure.
not yet.
Right.
Mhm.
I can't say sure. Robbie would be the best person to talk to about it. He is
Yeah.
so, oh my gosh, that's another voice talent who is so
Mhm.
wonderful and so intelligent. And
Mhm.
when you talk to him, he's just this joy.
Mhm.
So he would be the best person to talk to about this. But Vocal Alliance overall has helped so many people, has helped the voiceover talent as a whole because that's where it starts, like we sort of standardized the um, what do you call that, the industry prices. So now a lot of clients don't also have a choice
Mhm.
but to follow, because there's so many clients who are wonderful, but there are also some who are just like a little like they would rather save more money for themselves, which is understandable naman also. But
Yeah.
we all got to eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Correct.
it's we all need to get paid for our services the proper way.
Yeah.
And Vocal Alliance is helping secure that for a lot of voice talents, because a lot of voice talents, this is also their only job. This is
Yes. Agree.
how they provide for their family.
Mhm.
So Vocal Alliance is making sure that for all the efforts of these voice talents, they're getting compensated properly. And I really appreciate that.
Mhm. So that's gonna lead me to my next question because now we're on crisis, right? So ECQ and COVID-19 and all.
Yes.
Was there any impact on the in terms of projects that you are doing? Less projects, more projects? How is it?
Yes and no. This is because before the ECQ started,
Mhm.
I was primarily a live voiceover talent. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of recordings, but I kind of, when I started doing radio, I slipped away from that a little bit for, I
Mhm.
don't know what happened. I just kind of, I think it's because I didn't update my voiceover samples in the
Mhm.
studios. I don't know. I guess I was busy. And then it just so happened that a lot of events fit into my radio schedule.
Mhm.
So what happened was I became almost exclusively a live voiceover talent
I see.
for events.
Mhm.
And obviously, when the ECQ started, that stopped because no mass gatherings, right?
Mhm.
But because I have the capability to record quality recordings
Mhm.
from my home in
Mhm.
my home studio, um, my recorded gigs also went up.
Mhm. I see.
So
So
it's
that's
yeah,
it's good for you.
it was kind of like that.
Yeah, it's good for you. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are, investing on home studios now because of the
Hmm.
situation. Let me just revert back to an older topic that we had earlier.
Yeah.
So you were how do I say this? Mana-mana lang yan eh. You're part of a
Mm.
family of media people. Like your mom used to work for a
Yes.
radio station, right? And your dad as well, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
because of the connections that they probably have made over the years and yourself, did you make any audition at all for any project?
Oh yes. Of course,
You
yes.
did. Okay.
There are times where it's like, okay, we want Inka to do this, but also just because they knew that my voice would be perfect. But
Mhm.
there's so many times when I auditioned and I didn't get it. That's also one of the reasons why I think I also one of the reasons why I stopped doing regular voiceovers is because as a live voiceover, I had like mga suki
Mhm.
na events companies.
Yeah.
So they would just let's just set Inka because they know that they're used to working with me,
Mm-mm.
and we already have that good working relationship. So I often got booked by them. But a lot of recorded voiceovers are audition based, and
Mm.
more often than not, they don't even put the names of the people auditioning. So it's just like girl one, girl two,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So it's definitely audition based, and so many times I
Yeah.
didn't get because it's really, that's what voiceovers are about. Like,
Mhm.
if your voice does not fit the product, they will not get you at all.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So
And
that
that's
that
just the way it is.
that's probably just my assumption because normally in the Philippines connections matter, right? So I didn't realize that
Mm,
in
yeah,
the voice industry it's not that much.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not that much of a leverage, so to speak. Uh,
Yeah.
so Inka,
No, even like my
mhm.
dad,
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
example, I mentioned, yes, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I mentioned earlier that my dad is a producer,
Yeah.
right? And he's in casting if he knows that my voice will not fit the role. Like, he won't even try.
Mhm.
So which I appreciate. So that means every role that I get, I got on my own merit. Which that's something I know for sure.
Yeah.
So like, even if he'll try, like, okay, I think your voice will fit for this one, he won't even put my name, so people won't know that he's putting his daughter.
Yeah.
So it's fair. So
Yeah.
he's like, it's up to you which choice you want,
Yeah.
girl one, girl two, or girl three. And
Mhm.
then the client chooses based on whatever we all sound like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Pal. So your mom used to do the voiceover, not voiceover, but the voice of Pal, in the older days, and then you replaced her
Yes.
basically. And so was that also an audition piece, or was it just like
Yeah.
take my daughter because she's
Absolutely. No, my mom, actually, my mom was two voices before me or something. She was like
mm,
early 90s. And
mm-hmm,
then after my mom, it was Tita Pinky. And after
mm-hmm,
Tita Pinky, it was Tita Lily. Of course,
mm-hmm,
I'm just calling them Tita out of respect. We're not related at all. We just know each other from, because I grew up with them, right?
yeah,
Um, so it's definitely audition based. They didn't even know who I was
mm-hmm,
when they heard my voice. They
yeah,
just went, I like this girl. And then they're like, okay, come in. And they didn't know
yeah,
that I was the daughter. And I really wanted to make sure to not tell them until the day of the recording itself. Like, I was already inside the recording booth. I had my headphones on, and
mm-hmm.
then the clients were just like, okay, are we ready? And then I was like, yep, okay, let's go. And I said, by the way, did you know that my mom was the voice of Pal in the 90s? And that was the only time they found out. They're like, really? I really wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
because if I told them earlier, I was afraid that someone might think that I was getting in because of nepotism, which is
Yeah.
my biggest fear,
Mm-hmm.
because my parents are a big part of the voiceover industry.
Yeah.
So I'm always very careful about that.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, your name popped up like crazy in the last few months. I can't remember even when it did start, but it's probably because of this PAL voiceover, isn't it? Or was it the PAL or was it the Watsons? I'm not very sure.
Well, my first viral video was the Watsons one.
Yeah.
And then I guess people were just thinking, because normally when a viral video pops up,
Mm-hmm.
they're not usually followed up by another video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I
right.
guess I did that. So, yeah.
So, how did you feel about it? Like, all of a sudden you're a superstar now.
It's a little overwhelming. So what I do is I just call it my popularity. I don't like calling it anything else other than that.
Did it bump your
And
talent
I'm
fee as
I'm just
well or
happy
no?
about it too. No, I don't. I don't change my talent fee. I don't change my professional fee. I stick to the standard,
Standards
and
lang, no? Tama,
yeah,
tama.
I
Right,
stick to
right.
the standard, and I'm happy about it, because now I start a podcast of my own to help people go to sleep,
Yeah.
and it's something that I've always wanted to do, to
Mhm.
help relax people, because everyone, I've always heard that, oh my gosh, your voice is so relaxing, it's so soothing, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And personally, I love listening to relaxation videos on YouTube and stuff, and
Mhm.
they help me a lot, like calm down sometimes when I'm having a particularly anxious day. And I felt like that's something that I wanted to do. So this popularity spike of mine, I'm very thankful for, because now I can help many more people, relax, wind down
Yeah.
from a stressful day and maybe go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
And more than that, I think the impact that you've made on the industry itself, people are now more aware of what you do, and there's so many things attached to it. But
Yeah.
so we've talked about voice for the last 25 minutes, and I just want to know, aside from this, is there anything else that you would like to do in your life? Is there anything else that you want to do that you're really passionate about that you want to
Well,
talk about today?
lately it's been a dream of mine to kind of explore other things, what I can do with voice, how I can use my voice. And I was thinking, growing up with my dad, who is a producer, and he used to do a lot of audio imagery for radio stations. It's something that I want to do, and I really want to explore because I'm so very interested in it. And so lately, it's been a goal of mine to kind of um, practice with with the barest necessities, the barest
Mhm,
uh, programs,
mhm,
and see how far I can take my how far I can flex my production muscle. You
mhm,
know what I mean?
mhm.
So it's something that I'm interested in doing. Maybe going into producing, music producing,
Yeah.
audio imagery creation, and things like that.
It's definitely going to be a totally different environment altogether, being
Yes.
in music production, for example. And but again, if it's something that you're very passionate about, I mean, just go for it. I think this is what I feel about you. You're a person who, I think, is when you're very passionate about something and you pursue, you would succeed. And that's
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of don't stop when I have something in mind. I
yeah.
just kind of like, no, I want that.
So it's a
I
spot
want to
on
know how to
impression
get
then.
that.
Inka Magnaye, a great conversation we had tonight. It's a
Yes,
pleasure having
thank
you on
you.
board. I wish we had more time.
Me
Any
too.
parting words that you'd like to say to the people who probably would want to be like you someday?
I would say my favorite word, which is practice, and use every opportunity to practice and just make it fun, because it's just going to do you a lot of good if you do that too. So, if you have something in mind that you want to go for, I say go for it, figure out how to get there, and take the steps to do it.
Go for it is the message, and practice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Inka
Yeah.
Magnaye. Again, thank you very much. Until the next episode, God bless everybody.